Well,
Ah,
and Robin, 2022, another big year for UB40, new singer, big arena tour. I mean, who would have thought when I first started listening to you guys 30 something years ago, like, hey, it would keep getting bigger and bigger. Did both of you know that, hey, this is going to be a 40 to 50-year band?
no.
Of course not. Of course
No.
not. No.
You know, it's like you're riding a whirlwind, isn't it? You know, you just sort of hang on and see what happens. And it just,
Yeah, we took ourselves very seriously, and we imagined that it was going to be a career for us. You know, we didn't want to be a flash in the pan. We didn't want to last a couple of singles and disappear. We had, you know, aspirations, but nobody expects 45 years. You know, we had dreams that maybe we'd get 10 years out of it or something. You know, but 45 years is it is the stuff of dreams.
Right. And the album and the tour, Bigga Bagga Rhythm. Am I saying that correctly?
You
Well
are.
done.
That's not bad. It was a bit slow, but it was pretty good. We've had some.
Bigga Bagga Rhythm.
Yeah,
Well,
we've had some terrible pronunciations. When
I
we
can
do.
only imagine. And it's you guys headlining with some great bands on the bill. Did you know outright that you wanted to do a package tour for the States?
Yeah, well, we were talking with our agents and the promoters, and we said it'd be really nice to do that, especially for the 45th anniversary, to come and have a reggae bill, have a bill of names that, you know, the American audience would know.
Right.
And the agent came up with the artists. It wasn't our list of artists, but we were certainly happy when it was, you know, when it was suggested to us.
And Maxi, of course, we know really well. Maxi Priest.
Yeah, Maxi we've known for a long time.
Right. Matt is a big part of this tour. How did Matt come onto the radar of UB40?
He was the lead singer in a band that supported us for a lot of gigs. We met them at an awards ceremony in Birmingham, our hometown, because they're from Birmingham too. The band that he was in was called Kyoko, and they're a Birmingham reggae band. Very mixed, multiracial, you know, very similar to us. They reminded us of us as kids, you know, and when we were at the awards ceremony, they actually played one of our songs, because they were the band playing on the night of the awards, and they played one of our songs. And we just got chatting to them, and then we offered them a support slot, and they ended up doing 40 odd shows with us throughout the UK.
Then we stole him.
And yeah, he impressed us when we did the album Bigga Bagga Rhythm, which is a collaboration album.
Mm-hmm.
One of the artists we collaborated with was Kyoko, and we offered them a song. And when Matt was recording the song in the studio, I was there, and I remember at the time thinking, this kid can sing, you know, and he would be a perfect choice if ever Duncan, my other younger brother, if ever Duncan decided not to continue, he would be a great choice. And then Duncan had a stroke and decided that he didn't want to carry on anymore. And so he was the only guy we thought of. We didn't have a list, you know, we just went straight to Matt and offered him the job. And of course, he's been a fan since he was a kid. So he jumped at the chance, you know. He was a bit like a deer in the headlights, you know, for the first half dozen shows. But he's very quickly become very comfortable and confident. And we've just finished some gigs in Holland and Sweden,
mm-hmm.
and he was just going from strength to strength. He was amazing. So we're really looking forward to doing, you know, a full-on proper tour with him. And America will be the first one.
Thumbs up to that. You mentioned your hometown of Birmingham earlier, and I would say the average American who's really into music will think of Birmingham as where heavy metal started because of Black Sabbath and all that. What was the reggae scene like when you guys were starting out in Birmingham?
Well, the other big reggae band in the UK would be Steel Pulse, and they're from Birmingham too. So, you know, the pedigree of Birmingham with reggae artists is good. It was where we lived, the area we grew up in, which was a high immigrant area. We weren't listening to heavy metal, you know, we weren't listening to Black Sabbath and etc. What we were hearing, the music that we heard on the streets, in the clubs, in the bars, in the youth clubs, was Jamaican pop music, you know, which was ska at first, and then it became reggae, and that was the music that we grew up on and loved.
So yeah, because I mean, there was a reggae band on every corner when we first started in the late 70s. It was because the punk era had made the environment sort of conducive to reggae. The punks loved reggae, and Steel Pulse had the first sort of major reggae album in the charts, #1 in the charts, with Handsworth Revolution. And it was just a no-brainer, really, that we would play reggae because it's what we knew.
So neither of you were metal guys. That I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah,
never are.
We're in
where we grew up, we just didn't hear that kind of music. You know, that wasn't the music that we were listening. The thing about Birmingham, you have to understand, is it doesn't have one sound. It's a real cultural melting pot, more so than any other city in the UK, I would say. In that there are many bands from Birmingham. People don't realise they're from Birmingham. They know that the heavy metal scene from Birmingham, but there have been very successful pop, rock, reggae.
Duran Duran?
Duran,
absolutely.
Yeah.
ELO.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that ELO was also a Birmingham band.
Jeff Lynne is an absolute brummie. I bought his house off him.
Wow, small world.
But, yeah, there are so many from the early day, from the 60s, you know, The Move.
Oh, yeah, Roy Wood and The Move, yeah.
Exactly, Roy Wood, absolute brummie, without a doubt.
Went to my school, Roy Wood. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're not talking about UB40. We're talking about the Birmingham Tourism Council. That's what we have picked up on here. So that's fantastic that all of that music came from that one place, whether or not we kind of realize that. And do both of you or either of you still call Birmingham home?
Yeah, we both do. Well, I mean, we've moved into the outskirts, you know, the uber suburbs, but we're still within 10 miles of Birmingham, you know. So, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't exist without the cultural mix that makes up Birmingham, you know. It informs everything we do. I don't think we could create what we've created without that cultural influence, you know. And,
absolutely.
So we love the city. Even though
how does it compare to Birmingham, Alabama?
It doesn't.
Right.
It's completely different.
I mean, you know, Birmingham's a blue-collar city.
Right.
You know, it's a motor town. You know, so it's a high industrial area. So if Birmingham, Alabama is industrial as well, then I would say there is a similarity.
Yeah, it was a high industrial area. That's kind of gone now. It's turned into a services industry, exhibitions and all that kind of stuff. But it was built on the Industrial Revolution and on the motor trade, like Detroit. You know, it was very much a blue collar town.
Detroit, another musical city that changed the scape of everything. So now we know if the city makes cars, the music is going to be pretty great.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it will be danceable as well, you know, because I mean, you know, the inner city people, they like to go out on a Friday and Saturday night, you know, and dance and pick up girls. And that was the kind of culture we come from, you know.
Well, two more questions for both of you, and then you're free men, or at least free until the next journalist asks you the same exact questions that I have.
Yeah, nice.
And the first one that I've got is, looking at UB40's career, 45 years or so strong, still playing arenas and big festivals and theaters everywhere around the world. Is there anything that the band hasn't accomplished that you're still hoping will one day happen?
Oh, blimey.
Not really. We have been a hard-working touring band, so we've pretty much gone everywhere we wanted to over the last 40 years. It's a case of going back and revisiting places. I mean, we've been to far away places that other bands have never been to, like Tonga and Fiji and all of those kind of, in the Southern Hemisphere. Maybe mainland China. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to tour mainland China, but we've done India, we've done Russia, several times. It would be great to go back to some of those places. I'd love to visit some of the Eastern Asian places like Indonesia, again. But yeah, we've pretty much been everywhere apart from mainland China, which would be interesting, I think.
We're the luckiest people in the world that we've actually realised our dream. When we first started, we dreamed of being in a reggae band, and we became the biggest reggae band in the world. Which is quite a massive achievement and kind of thing that you can retire on, really.
Yeah, if we don't ever do anything else, we've done enough. We're happy, but. I think ambitions we don't really have other than to keep going as long as we can,
Yeah, sure. And the last thing I want to ask you about, obviously I'm a UB40 fan. Obviously I'm a Neil Diamond fan. And the Red Red Wine cover was huge, and it still is huge and being played. But I remember hearing a live album of Neil Diamond's where he started doing the song the UB40 way. And he actually says the line, "With UB40, we be number one." He actually does the rap part of it. I was curious if you ever heard that and what you thought of that.
Yeah, I did kind of hear it, and I thought he was. I think he was being a little bit sarcastic. The rap thing that he did was not the original lyrics. He made his own up.
Right.
Red Red Wine makes me feel so good, even if the words aren't understood. That kind of stuff. Which I felt was a little bit of an insult considering the millions we earned him on that song.
Yes.
But he has acknowledged it publicly, and he plays it, and he mentions us, but he's never acknowledged it to us personally. And I think if someone recorded one of my songs, I'd be writing them a thank you letter, and I'd want to go and shake their hand. But everyone to their own.
Yeah, because
he's kind of used to having people recording his songs and having big hits. I guess that's normal for him.
But I think the big takeaway is he did your version. He stopped doing his own original and he switched over to the UB40 version.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot more successful.
Yeah. Well, we saw the jazz singer and we thought that man needs a bit of help.
Yeah. I hear you there, Jimmy. Well, the bottom line is thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you live in New York, and just keep up that great success, and hope you make it to mainland China.
Well, thank you. That was very quick and brilliant.
Yeah.
We aim to be quick, painless, and positive, and I think we do all those.
Talking about ambitions, playing Central Park is one of them. That's not a bad gig, is it?
Not a bad gig at all, and that's the gig I will probably be going to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care.
Thank you, Darren. Cheers, man.
Paltrocast.